in Chicago. He was in charge of prostitution. He was in charge of illegal gaming. Before we had the lottery, we had numbers, and I know you don't know anything about that. And it was the brown paper bag that was passed around all up and down the street, and none of you all ever did that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought that up. It was the numbers and the prostitution and the drugs. But Blue was in charge of all of that. He was in charge of it, and he held that corner down. He was cool. He was bad. Everybody genuflected when they saw Blue because they didn't want to get on Blue's side. But Blue disappeared. Nobody had seen Blue for a long, long time, and things just weren't the same in Chicago on that street corner. But Blue had disappeared. But somebody said, well, has anybody seen Blue? And one lady said, well, I saw Blue the other day. He was going down that street. And somebody said, well, I haven't seen him. We need to go find out where Blue is. So the lady said, I'm going to find Blue. And so the next time she saw Blue going down the street, she followed him. And she followed him, and when she followed him, lo and behold, Blue was going to church. And when Blue went into church, she followed him into church. And when she said, I got to sit down and hear what's going on in here because Blue's here. So she sat down and she sat on the pew, and when the preacher opened the doors of the church and extended the invitation to Christian discipleship, she jumped out of her seat, just like I hope somebody will today, and said, I want to give my life to Jesus. She ran down the aisle. After the service was over, the preacher had an opportunity to talk to her, and he said, sister, can you just tell me what brought you to the church? He said, what was it, this beautiful edifice that made you make up your mind to join the church? And she said, no, it is a lovely church. I love the way it looks, but it wasn't the building. She said, well, was it the choir? Choir sang this morning? She said, no, they sure can't sing. But that's not what made me give my life to Jesus. He said, well, was it my preaching? Surely it was a good word I brought today. She said, Reverend, it was a wonderful word, but it wasn't your word that made me get up and walk down. She said, well, what was it that made you walk down the aisle? She said, I took one look at Blue, standing as an usher with a black suit, a starched white shirt, and a black tie, standing erect on his post. And I said to myself, any man that could change Blue sure can change me. So, Reverend, it wasn't the edifice, it wasn't the choir, it wasn't your sermon, but it was the man that changed Blue. Because I want that man to change me. Can I get a witness in here today? The same man that changed Blue is able to change me. The same man that changed Blue is able to change you. Anybody know who I'm talking about? He's a man from Galilee. He's a man of many stripes. He's a man who has all power in his hands. He's Mary's baby. He's a wheel in the middle of a wheel. He's the joy of my salvation. He's my peace in the midst of chaos. He's got all power in his hands. His name is Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father. Do you know